Hello everybody, welcome back to the Seercast. This is episode number 61, and this time we will be talking about Runefest. I am ePiKnight, and with me today is Liem.
Hype is a non-renewable resource, and today we burned it all.
Oh yeah. Geena?
Dead as I'll ever be today.
Thorlah?
So much hype. All the hype.
Kitten?
I need to see it all.
Oh,
Hello.
as I totally cut off Thorlah's intro. Ernge?
So many quests.
All of the quests. And we have Hablet and Walter in the chat. So...
Also, is that? Yeah, it's Hablet. Hablet, sorry, I forgot.
It is.
Part.
Also, Fang may or may not be showing up late, and we may or may not have people leaving us in the middle. So, who knows who we'll have at the end of it. But, regardless, yeah, we may also have a Runic show up. So, you know.
It's an exciting time.
Things are happening.
Yeah, it's a big surprise.
Before we get into Runefest itself, I very quickly, want to mention the Seer blog, as we have the last couple times. Seercast.wordpress.com. Go check it out. You can find all of our content, all of our recent content is there. We've been placing up the audio versions of the podcast, as well as the video versions, as well as the Citrus Edition stuff quests, and then eventually we'll do Rune Tomes and other stuff that will also be up there. Also check out the BTS edition that we actually did earlier today. That is on October BTS. We talk about that stuff, as well as a couple things from the end of September. So,
and Hablet says that he's also put up the taste and touch versions of the Seercast.
Good. Perfect.
So I assume that means it's going to be the Taster Cast and the Toucher Cast.
Yep.
Don't judge.
Hear no evil, see no evil, do no evil. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and just get straight into the meat of Runefest. So Runefest was today. For any of you who are unaware that for some reason that you didn't know that Runefest is literally happening now, it happened earlier today.
If you started playing, like, tomorrow, then, yeah, it happened today.
Fair enough.
Wait,
Yeah, and if you started playing tomorrow, thank you for doing the best thing you could have done and listening to Seercast on your first day.
Yeah.
It's a great way to
that's the
start off.
smartest thing you could have done.
Yep, pretty much. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so at Runefest, one of the important things for us was 1 million quest reveals for next year.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with Geena spam and talk about Slisky's Countdown. So we know got the Slisky's game was begun with Missing Presumed Death, and it was continued on throughout the last couple years, most notably with Dat Quest.
And the Bird and the Beast.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Some random encounter with some Virago noob.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah,
Let's not
yeah.
think about that.
No, but it
That's
counts
really-
towards the game, so
But still, let's not think about that event.
yeah. Okay.
He
fair
showed
enough.
up and he left.
Things happened. Things happened. People died, and yeah, whatever. And then Gobies happened, which we talk about in the October BTS cast. So go watch that.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. Anyways, so what they are doing for next year is a countdown of Slisky's game, I guess. They're doing 4 quests, all seemingly major quests. They didn't say anything about requirements, but I would assume that they're of lore scope of Missing Presumed Death, and there's 4 of them in the year, which is
There's 4 of them. Like,
it's like worth repeating so much.
Yeah.
It's like hype.
Four.
It's hype training on the level of the Void series,
Yeah.
which was very successfully hype trained.
I made comparisons to the Void series when I heard about all of these, and for those of you who weren't playing in 2010, I actually was not. The Void series was announced in late April. It wasn't even that wasn't even the first quest. It was announced that it was going to happen in late April of 2010. It had 3 quests, all released, and the series was over by October of 2010, beginning of
And
October.
another minigame. And
Yep.
another minigame.
Mm-hmm. And a new island and all that stuff. So,
Altair
like,
was efficient.
it was
insane.
extremely condensed. It was extremely dense in terms of they all came out in a very short amount of time. There was no elf soon.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not like any waits of extreme amounts like the Penguin Quest, where we've been waiting for another Penguin Quest since we started this podcast.
Mod Raven,
Or Gnome
please.
Quest, or Pirate Quest, for that matter.
Yeah, like any of those.
Well,
We've
those
been
had
waiting
their-
a long time.
Those had their chances, though. They were polled, and they just lost a poll. Penguins, we just haven't heard anything about them. Mod Raven, give us
Until
Penguins.
now, which
Yeah.
is why this Runefest was amazing.
Yes, and more on that later. For now, Slisky's Countdown. So, the first quest in Slisky's Countdown, which is probably going to be early next year, is Nomad's Elegy. And now is when we all groan about Nomad being stuffed in another quest, and, you know...
I'm well, my biggest complaint here, and this is going to be like one of my few comments. My biggest complaint here is that they're kind of like superseding Amoscut, because this is exactly Amoscut's MO here.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're copy pasting Nomad into Amoscut's position, and I feel that's kind of stepping on toes just because, hey, it's Nomad. I feel like he could be doing stuff that's way more intelligent with that stone, especially considering what he. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Especially considering what he did on the island in the first place. He's clearly an intelligent individual. I find it very hard to believe that he won't like study the stone, or at least like bide his time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like Nomad's particularly patient. From the quest, from when we saw him in the quest, from both times he was in the quests, it didn't seem like patience was one of his strong suits. So I'm honestly not surprised by this. And it also, like...
I feel like the connection with souls is from the fact of Soul Wars and how he was siphoning souls there, and that's why he's being put on this, but I'm surprised they don't have Amoscut there too.
Yeah. I mean, the quest is apparently, the basis of it is that Nomad wants to drain the power of everyone who's ever died. Everyone who has ever died.
And that is like straight up Amoscut material.
So
Yeah.
everyone who has ever died in quest content will now be our ally.
Hazelmere!
Not only that, everyone who's ever died in Galore ever. So that includes all of the God Wars. Like everyone who died in the God Wars.
And all those small town guards that were killed
Yep.
every single day.
Rip.
We're gonna have a veritable army of them.
Rip in pieces.
But it's like worth mentioning, like, this is for all of us who have mourned Cyrusus, or who have mourned Hazelmere, or who have mourned any of the other random
Anybody.
people that Modana
What?
killed.
Yeah,
Princess
Phoenix.
Astrid,
All of
Prince
the-
Brand.
Or all of
Yeah.
these people that died in
The entire
Lord of
Myrique.
Vampirium.
the entire Myrique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the
And
number of nostalgia allies you would get is insane.
I am betting straight up right now. I'm gonna call this that somebody's gonna get absorbed by Nomad and never
Yep.
like his soul will be doomed.
Yep.
Like that, I'm straight up saying it. This is gonna happen in the quest.
It might.
I agree.
It's something that they said was that about this whole thing is that Slisky isn't content. Slisky's gotten bored with his game, and it's not like high paced enough or whatever. So he's like lightening the requirements on what a quote unquote god is. So
And
a
and to be
super
fair-
powered nomad might count.
And to be fair, we've been getting kind of bored too. So this came right in the nick of time.
Yeah.
This guy's like us. He's like, you know what? We've had 2 major events and then a space bore. You know what? I'm done. I'm done.
It's not been fast enough. So we're gonna have 4 in the next year. Hablet says he's gonna absorb a few known people into thousands of other souls. Gonna get killed, turn to stone like a god, and suddenly he's the soul altar. Don't worry about the lore fails.
Suddenly Soul Altar.
Yup. I mean, to be fair, we kinda need one because of Saren spells, kinda.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
we really do.
how much are soul runes by now?
I think they're more than Armadillo runes.
can't remember. I haven't bought any in a while. But anyways, that's irrelevant. Obviously, for Nomad's Elegy, Slisky Death and King Itchy will have things to say about these things. Like,
And I would be doubly shocked if Itchy did not mention Amascut. I would be extremely startled.
yeah, it would
There has
be.
to be some comparison drawn there.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Slisuke probably would say it as a jab to him, even. Like,
Like,
hey, look, he's taking after your sister.
I'm very surprised that Amascut hasn't been involved with this from the get-go. Because, yeah.
Well, it's
Maybe
interesting.
he's a secret follower.
It's interesting that Itchy is getting brought in, and by Itchy I mean Nick Flaren, that he's getting brought in without Amascut. But, I mean, I guess with Death coming in, it does seem like it's odd to leave out Amascut.
Oh. I know why he's being brought in, because Slisuke was the first one to jump ship. The two of them have been butting heads since the start.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been saying since Missing Presumed Death that they need to look more into that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I mean, that is a thing. So, but yeah,
On to the next one?
so Nomad's Elegy is the first of 4. The second of 4 is where Geena explodes. Is called the Ballad of the Barrows Brothers, and not only this, they're
It's like, well, as much as we are half hoping it will be like the musical number.
yeah. I mean,
Slisuke, the musical.
oh jeez. They're introducing a Barrows Sister, who is clearly going to be introduced as the next Geena, and before named Geena.
me.
Literally
Yeah.
Geena.
Yep.
Jagex grown Geena.
On one hand, it smells of gender diversity, and that's why it's there. On the other hand, it's Geena.
On the other hand,
Yeah,
it's
they need
Geena.
to name her Geena. They need to do it.
G-I-N-A. It needs to be named Geena. G-I-N-A. The what would your title be?
Oh, this is way up in the air. Give me anything that sounds decent.
Geena the Spammed. I don't know about it, whether it's Relomi or not. Like, it makes... On the one hand, it kind of half makes sense for it to be Relomia, but...
This would be an odd way to disturb the emissary thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geena the
Long
Many.
ass.
Oh, that's a good one.
There you go.
It'd be for surprise Zanuck. Oh,
Oh, dear.
jeez.
That's
No lime.
Ruining more of your favorite characters.
God. I wonder, quickly back to Nomad's Elegy. So if you killed Zanuck, would she
died
come
on
back?
Yukis.
Oh,
She died on Yukis.
No.
That
So
would
she
be.
would technically go to their afterlife.
I guess
What?
that's true.
Put this to bed. Like, no more Sonic.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, we're
She
so
went with
done.
Gane. She's also from Canada.
Alright, anyways. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, so Ballad of the Barrows Brothers, Barrows Sister, clearly Geena. This has concept art that... it has stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, where the
Like
Barrows
cards and
Brothers.
stuff.
Yeah, they're cards.
And
That's some strange set of cards, yes.
and it's like at a certain point it's like, why are they playing Hearthstone? At another point it's like, wait, why are they advertising RS Chronicle in game?
Yeah.
And third time are they like now doing tarot in the Barrows? Like what's going
Tarot
on?
Barrow.
Yeah.
Just make her twin sister Loramia to replace her.
Loremia.
Loremia, sorry, my mistake.
Oh wait, we could just use my old anagram.
I summoned Guthan the Infested in attack mode.
Oh, yeah, I taught that. I summoned Aram in defense mode.
I summoned Aram to fill my bucket.
Uh-oh, but you triggered Slisuke's trap card.
Damn it.
Yeah, and now you fell down the well.
Down the well you go.
No.
For anyone
Speaking
who
of
is
Slisuke,
So wait, yeah, when you lose, you get thrown in the well right into the Shadow Realm.
yeah, speaking
No,
of Slisuke, this
no,
quest is
God.
apparently supposed to go into his motivations and help you learn more about him. And the Barrows Sister is supposed to be someone who's important for some
And
reason.
I
It's
got
something-
a line from Walter and said, "Does she need or want to be rescued?"
I'm thinking it's Geena.
If it's a Geena, the answer is no. If it's not a Geena, that is a possibility.
But for right now, it looks so much like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Whoever ends up developing that quest, I'm going to be pushing them into naming the
Gina. I mean, maybe it'll be Stu, and he'll name someone after me, and then someone after Gina, and then there needs to be a Lime.
Where's the
already in
Thorlah
games.
cameo? I have not had any cameo in anything.
You're
You're everyone. And
Yeah.
you're always dead.
I'm already in the game.
I'm going to be a
Our
dead
guess.
soul in the River Numenon, aren't I?
probably.
Wait,
where's-
Remember, Gordon?
Where's
They
Lime?
threw me in that asylum in the
Oh
second-
yes,
Lime's
Lime
the
is
same
already
guy.
in the game.
Don Lime.
The Zerosians don't like Lime. They threw him into insane asylum.
Rip. All right. Anyways,
Let's throw Lime in there for hating on the Madrad and Zaros and
for
everything.
hating
Oh, you know
Zeros,
it.
Irrational hate of Zeros.
It's completely rational, and you know it.
That's clinically insane in their terms.
Lime, please. Don't be ridiculous. Anyways, moving on.
I'm sorry, Gordon. I can't hear you over the glory of Saradomin.
Speaking of Sarah Doman, that's the next one is the big finale.
That's segue.
Yeah.
Yay!
Nice.
So wait, we're killing Saradomin? What?
No.
Maybe there's a God kill scoreboard, which implies that people might be fighting it
Yep.
this year.
Oh. The amount of noise they're gonna make if they kill Saradomin with no.
The noise it's
It-
going to make if anybody dies at this point.
In my
I mean,
opinion- In my opinion, it would be vastly funnier if Armadillo dies.
Oh,
Rip
boy.
bird
It
brains.
would be. And watch
Certainly
the birds
in fate
freak
would
out.
be
It's what's
sad.
Rite of Passage gonna be about now?
It'll
Uh,
be like Gothics in memoriam.
I suspect that they're not going to kill off any of the major gods, any more of the
Mhm.
major gods, just because of how the kind of backlash they got from Bandos' death.
Mhm. I think there'll be people that just ascend and then you kill them.
Yeah,
like
I
Nomad,
think it's
for instance.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's going to be a lot of that kind of nomad ascents. Oh, we can't have
Or-
that. Zap.
It could be like the Queen of Ashes, or V,
Mhm.
where they just arrive and then they die.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
it
a
could
good
be
way.
Majorat even.
That's also a good way of dealing with the aspect of, oh, now there's a new god. Well, you just kill him.
Mhm.
I just thought of something. Since
Mhm.
Sliske is bending the rules regarding what counts as a god, it could be
Mhm.
that he accidentally bends them so that he counts as a god.
Oh dear. No, I think Sliske going to be savvy enough to be like, well, I could sort of kind of count, but
But
then it wouldn't be much of a game.
yeah, but to be fair, he's the only one that knows where the Stone of Jasz is right now because
Yeah,
he moved it.
that's true. You know Zamorak would probably
So-
say, let's kill him now. And he's like, won't find it if you kill me.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't do them much good to kill him, and I don't think he'd leave himself open to
Actually,
getting
I think
wrecked.
it would do us all a massive amount of good if we just went up and killed him.
Rip Gina.
What about the Dragonkin?
How to do that?
Will they count? Like, will they get a kill count for killing V? And if they do, what's Sliske gonna do about it if they get the stone? Or if
Set
they
up an
try to get it?
invitation.
God, if the dragon can get the stone, maybe that's the because what they mentioned. Okay, well, this is exactly what Walter has written in the thread. The quest will rock RuneScape. They will be releasing a god kill scoreboard and letting us talk to many of the gods to find out what they think is going on, and it will open up a sequel quest, so that'll close out the Stone of Jasz quest line,
Mm-hmm.
but open up a potentially worse, I guess, outcome in the
I have a
future.
strange
And-
theory on
yeah.
that.
And if that is the Dragonkin end up getting the stone, I would say that is a hell of a lot worse than any kind of kill count. That
Mhm.
would,
Brought them all over again. It's like, yep, Dragonkin just went up another level.
yep.
What if there's something brewing inside of the stone? Because they keep talking about how whenever you touch it, you see memories of other gods. What if it's collecting pieces of individuals and something is just gestating in there? Some kind of elemental.
I mean, to
It
be
could be the sixth
fair,
Elder
it isn't-
God waiting.
So the hard-boiled egg has a thing in it.
You never know. Stranger things have happened.
My biggest concern is that, like, if the dragon can win the competition, then I think that's the best outcome, to be honest. Because the Dragon King themselves, they can't use the stone, or else they end up being like Tarshak.
But are they sure of that?
How do you
Yeah,
know
we're sure.
that?
Yeah.
Because they said that like that's the way that the curse works. Like
Well, the
the
Dactyl are
Dragonkin
smart
are
enough not to.
the Dragonkin are not able to contain that amount of power. They just morph into the monster that Tarshak became.
But that's a different kind of power. He killed a god.
Yeah, he siphoned it directly from
He siphoned it from another being, as opposed to using the Elder Mirror, as opposed to the Stone of Jasz, which is not only just like raw power that you can harness, it's also the power that they have. It's something
And
that
it's not
they are
broken.
tied to.
Yeah.
I just don't see how it'd be different because of the way that it was described. And to be honest, it was described kinda in, well, not kinda. It was described in a very weird and roundabout way.
Mhm.
It's that the curse has tied them to the stone, but it has also tied them to the false users. And
Mhm.
by using, like, effectively, they pulled backwards on the curse, and that gave them whiplash. If I've got my metaphors right. So I don't see
But-
how it'd be different. They pulled back against the curse directly on the stone, and eventually they'd kill themselves.
Well,
Mhm.
I
that
can't.
maybe.
But think of the
Like-
Dactyl. They would love to see another experiment. They would probably be of the line of thinking, okay, Tarshak's a failure. Let's try it again and see what happens. With
Or-
a different
or
Elder
they-
artifact.
They might just end up just sticking it in a vault and then conducting tests from afar because that's the Dactyl. They're the scientists. They're the careful ones.
Maybe. I don't. It's hard to say. The other option, because of the third quest, which is Fate of the Gods 2, is that it might involve the Elder Gods showing up, and that would also be a problem.
And that is a good segue. No,
Yeah. It's
Walter,
not the
that's
fifth
the
quest. No,
that's
it's
the
a
third
third quest.
It's the third quest.
Oh, so
Slisky's
that is
Endgame
considered
is the fourth, and they introduced it out of order in the stream, and I was going to go in order and mention Fate of the Gods 2, but
Yeah.
yeah, Fate of the Gods 2 is the third in this series, and apparently Ma is letting her fury about what happened during Fate of the Gods out, and something in her being is triggering her to remake the universe starting with Freneske. The Majorat will apparently have something to say about this, might want to make a visit there. Zeros and Zamorak might also end up standing off against each other, or something. But
It feels like it's just a huge jumble of spam. I can't say I like the premise of this quest.
Yeah, I've got the same idea. It's just a
And
bunch
I
of switch.
feel like most of the people in this podcast agree that like we're not entirely sold on the concept of this quest.
Yeah, there's a lot of concepts here that I guess if they did it, in a good way, then, well, yeah, it turns out good. But there's also, they might just overload on all these different ideas and end up making a big mess.
Yeah.
Like most of us, we can't think of a world where the Majorat would even miss Freneske. Like I can't think of it. I know that there is that reasoning, like, oh, it's their home, but they've
Yeah,
lived on, like they've had no need to go back to Freneske.
Yeah, there's nothing left of them there. There's
Yeah,
it's a barren
It's-
world.
it's just a place. It chased them out. That's where they just kept dying and dying and dying. Why would they ever want to go back?
but
All right.
it's not a question of like how bad the place was it to them. It's a question of it's their homeland. Like regardless of how much ill feeling you may feel towards the circumstances of your leaving, generally there's always at least some kind of pull back to your homeland. And even if it's literally just of curiosity and like, I wonder how this is now, or something of that nature, it makes sense that the Majorat would at least care what's happening. Yeah, why would you not want to see it one last time before it's completely destroyed? And there very well could be like different camps of Mazzaroth. The Mazzaroth that are like, yeah, let's just destroy it, versus the ones that are like, oh, I don't know about this. This doesn't seem like a good idea. And then, at the same token, we know that Zeros and Zamorak will likely be in the quest and likely face off against each other. So, there's a lot to think about and to just take into consideration with this entire thing. I am in the boat that just a straight-up square-off between Zeros and Zamorak kind of contradicts everything that Zeros said in Fate of the Gods, so I think that's a poor way of going about things.
Well, all I have to say is that I'm going to be very, very angry if Khazard mentions, like, his fond memories of Freneskin. Like, we've actually talked about this. Like, we've even come up with a whole story behind it. Like, and cue the story time. Cue the story time with storyline graphic.
Yep. Oh my god.
All right, so I'll just jump right into it then. So like one day, like during the quest, Khazard is on Freneskin and he just goes, "Ah, Freneskin. I remember its bubbling magma and its thunderous skies very fondly." And then Zamorak just goes, "You've never been here."
You idiot,
Khazard...
you haven't been here before.
It gets better. Khazard says, I remember my mother telling me about it when I was a child. Zamorak says, "You've never met your mother."
Screw you.
And then for the rest of the quest, they just don't speak to each other. They try, like when one enters a room, the other one leaves.
Like angsty teenagers.
Well, that's what the Mazzaroth are.
Khazard especially is the teenager of the Mazzaroth.
So yeah, let's not let this situation happen, even though it'd be hysterical if it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Khazard's the type who's like, "Oh yeah, I've been there. I've done that. What are you talking about? You're too young. Shut up."
Shut up, leave me alone. Gosh.
Yep.
You never understand me.
Yeah.
Shut up,
You
Mom.
don't understand me. Only Azil understands me. I'm gonna go take over our dorm now.
You're not my real dad.
It's a guy that starts with a Z-A.
Oh my
Oh
god.
no.
Oh.
Zeros, you are the father.
No. Oh, sorry. Anyways. But yeah, so that's a thing. And so we have a significant amount of trepidation when it comes to this one specifically. And there's a lot of things that's like, well, they could have just thrown this into Runefest because hype factor. Or this, like, aspect of it. Like, especially these Zeros versus Zamorak. Like,
Yep.
anybody
like...
who isn't a lorehound would be like, oh my god, yes! But those of us who, like, really start thinking about it, like, I don't know about that.
But
Because
like,
Zamorak
it doesn't make
look...
much sense.
Yeah,
because...
Zamorak's not thrilled about the idea of going to fight Zaros, and Zaros has even more godhood plans on his mind.
Even to begin with, Zamorak cheated in his fight, and he, even then, basically lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he almost lost. And Zeros, he...
If Zeros' agility level hadn't been 1.
Yep.
Yeah. And, like... So there was no way he'd be thrilled about another fight with Zeros.
It's also worth mentioning, Zeros is a tier 2, and at the top of tier 2. Zamorak is like tier 4 or 5.
4.
Like, yeah, he
moved
sank.
back up to 4.
Dad quest.
Like, it's not even close. It's not even remotely a fair fight.
Yeah.
And with the World Guardian probably being able to pick a side, and both sides having Mazzaroths on, like, it's like, it's a 0% chance of him winning. So, like, it just, as I expect it to be more of a staring contest than a shouting match, rather than an actual fight.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you look at the Mazzaroth from both sides, the Zerosian ones are generally more powerful. I mean, yeah, they've got Zemi on Zamorak's side. Bilrock maybe shows up, but as an address, still really strong.
Yeah, and then you have Khazard and Hazil on Zamorak's side, which are both like...
Inakra is going to be a no good.
Yeah,
She's gonna be busy
all
bickering.
3 of those are kind of nopes.
Mm-hmm.
because like the most powerful Zamorakian Majrat either went insane, Lucian, or ascended, Zamorak.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. I don't
And
know.
you're left with one who thinks he's the best in the universe and he keeps getting his butt kicked. You have a Majrat human hybrid who may or may not be busy in the fight or trying to stick with Zamorak to protect him.
Mhm.
And then after that, you get to Hazil. That's the next strongest after those
Yeah.
guys.
And it's curious. It'll be interesting to see what Karshai does in the quest, though, because he's the neutral guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does he do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
it
is
seems
he
like
gonna do?
This might be a continuation of what he's trying to do, like bridge the gap
Oh,
between the two
Lime's got a
sides.
point. Bilrock may have a point in the contest if Chelonma counts as a god.
Oh,
And
that's true.
Yeah, that was complete. That was just like, it just hit me. It should have hit me about 5 minutes ago, but it just hit me. And I just had to say it.
Bilrock might try and make that count towards Zamorak, though. Considering how loyal he is, he might be like, well, I did it under the guidance of Zamorak, blah, blah, blah.
He did it
Try
under
and
the
force
guise
it
of
on.
himself.
Well, yeah, but he
I
wants Zamorak to stick around.
I think Bilrock would have a point if they qualify Chelon-Ma as a god. But also, you have to keep in mind that was a long time ago.
Fifth age.
Before
was
that
the-
was before the
Ritual.
significantly. It was before the ritual and before the game started.
That's
So
true.
I don't think that's a thing. But who knows?
Well, I mean, Sliske is bending the rules, but
I know our avatar
As
doesn't.
expected.
let's keep moving along.
Yeah. All right. So we've talked a lot about those. So Slisky's Countdown is like the major hype train for next year. But there's also
we didn't talk about the last quest in that.
yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We kind of
Yeah.
glazed over it. I mean, it's a general.
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't
Yeah, we
really.
don't know that much
The
about it.
Slisky's end game is well, we don't know Slisky's end game. It's actually really fitting that they
Sorry,
called
I-
it Slisky's end game because we have no idea what it is,
Yeah.
I
and
completely forgot. Sorry.
That's all right,
we
Lon.
still
I had
don't
yeah.
know. But yeah. So speaking of hype trains, though,
King Roald.
we just had the Myrique 6.
Shout out to Mod Rally, you rock, man.
And
Yes.
now we're going to get Vampire 7, the Vampire
Heck yeah.
finale
Yeah.
next year, which is tentatively titled Rivers of Blood,
Yay.
where
Basically says everyone dies. I mean,
yeah,
If you've read Legacy of Blood, it's gonna be like that, a bloodbath.
Well, I mean,
Literally
like,
and figuratively.
just from a strategic standpoint, taking the salve, like crossing the salve, it is a massive undertaking. Like, there
Mhm.
will be blood. Even crossing Silvaria, that will be bloody
Yep.
in itself.
I mean it's like it's cramming all of your units into a choke point. Like that's not a good idea in literally any game or real life. Like, what are you doing?
Walter's got a point, though.
That's-
All that blood
that's like
could
s-
be used by vampires
Mhm.
for their
That-
own magic spells.
But that's like straight up Battle of Thermopylae
Mhm.
type
Yeah.
stuff.
It's pretty much going to be like that, with the 300 being Misslin because they're still drained, troop count wise from
I think
Legacy
you
of
mean
Blood.
exactly one, and that one being us.
Hi.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, the general concept is that Venescula will bring the vampires to the River Salve. We will get to visit the actual Castle Drakon this time and confront Venescula. And the most important part is that Mod Rowley is doing it.
Heck yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
And also shout out to Mod
Yay.
Rowley for being awesome.
Heck yeah.
Oh, and we do have some information about this quest from the previous quest.
Mhm.
It specifically said in like the last part of what is it, the Lord of Vampirium,
hmm
that it will involve an agent going behind the lines. So
Mhm.
I suppose that Rold is going to try and like bypass the need for a larger army and instead send in an agent in order to sabotage Venescula's campaign.
Probably
and that's how
us.
we'll yeah.
Or
That'll
Farmer
be-
Fred. You
Walter
know,
says
nobody
it's
will
clearly
suspect
going to be
Fred.
Farmer Fred.
No one suspects
Oh,
Or
Farmer
the
Fred.
Easter Bunny.
No, it's too dangerous. You have to save him.
I think
Later.
you mean Brassica Prime.
Jesus.
Oh dear.
All right, now we're totally off.
Yes.
But yeah, it says they also, I believe this is for the vampire finale, but they're also going to try something new, but don't want to say much about it.
I think you're right. I think that is what they said.
So,
Oh, segueing from cabbages, though, there's one more quest.
well,
We have to.
more than one, but we don't know any. We don't exactly know about the other ones. But we have a new quest about two wizards who have seen it all, and it is designed by one Andrew Gower and one Paul Gower.
Woo!
It,
Love those
That was
guys.
a big surprise.
Yeah, when they walked out, everyone was like, "Oh God, that just happened."
I was so happy to see them.
Andrew and Paul will be in-game characters, and it will be full of fourth wall breaking. Things that had been removed
Yeah.
from the game, so Romeo and Juliet, are returning, and they aren't happy. There's a ridiculous amount of hype here, as well as many cabbages.
All the cabbages.
Yeah, they were asked to help they were asked if they wanted to help write the quest, and they accepted. This is, of course, being done because of RuneScape's 15-year anniversary. So that means that in many states in the United States, in the U.S., they can now drive. RuneScape can now drive, assuming it took driver's ed,
Driver's permit.
With the supervision of an adult.
with the supervision of an adult.
I elect Monstu for that job.
Wait,
Wait,
Or Mount
no.
Osborne. That'd
Oh,
be fun.
what?
I don't know about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
alright, I do know, and this is like the one piece of really insanely obscure lore that I know, that during one of the Fremnik quests, I think it was the Fremnik Trials, one of the Fremnik mentions that
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not going to give you a trial, because back in his day, they had to go do trials like retrieving the skull of the mage Andrew.
Yep. He's right. No, I think that's the guy who tells you to go grab that. It's all these things you can never
it's
get.
a bunch of obviously impossible tasks, which is basically saying no.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, Andrew, watch your back.
Yep. The goal with this quest is to have a nostalgic feel with references that people who have been playing for a long time will get. Things like life runes and the Tanglevine event that was literally there for a day. They also mentioned stuff about random events possibly coming back for the quest itself and things of the like,
Mm-hmm.
which would be very cool.
Yes, it would.
But we don't know a whole lot about that quest as of yet, other than just the bare essentials. We don't really know, like, none of this stuff that we're mentioning here is even set in stone because reasons.
It's about a year out.
With the exception of invention, which we'll get to
Yep.
later.
We'll let our engineer handle that.
Yes. But in the meantime, we also have one other batch of quests to mention. They said explicitly, we are not forgetting our quirky stuff.
Yay!
So that means stuff like
And-
the
and not to
penguins.
They
Stuff.
posted a picture with penguins and the barrel chest on it. So that means penguins.
Yes.
Yes.
Please give penguins now.
Penguin-
I saw Zen Vivian there
Penguins.
too. Wise old man out of retirement.
But yeah, they have like almost all of the major players from more minor quest series or standalone kind of quests are on the concept art that should be in the video right now. So if you're listening on, if you're listening to the MP3, I apologize, but I can't supply it for you. You'll have to go find it yourself.
Go to our
Google it.
Twitters. We probably retweeted it at some point.
Yeah, I'll probably post up an album at some point.
Yeah, we have a large album of screenshots that we got, and they posted a lot of the stuff up on the RuneScape forums as well. So
Go look at it.
that
It
is a thing.
It is
Yes, it
gorgeous.
is.
But the first thing I noticed was ping and pong,
Yeah.
And then the pillar.
and then oh my god,
And the
yes,
pillar.
the pillar.
The salt and the...
Oh my god.
could we forget?
I didn't notice that at first because I was too busy with spamming about penguins, and then then Mon
thought of
Osborn
it, yeah.
said something explicitly about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my favorite is the pillar in the back that killed the mother." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
And then I
That
think
just
Mon
happened.
replied, "It could have its own quest series."
Oh my god, so great.
I love it.
But anyways, so I think that comes to the end of the quest segment. There's a lot of stuff, cool stuff coming out. Actually, one more thing, and aside from the larger quests that they've slated to have done, they said explicitly we want to do more quests, and the way they're going to do that is with the bottle quests. With the first of which is coming out in 2 weeks, which is the Gobi quest. So, bottle quests are quests on a smaller scale. They have more reused assets. Basically, they're not going to make any huge new areas. They're not making Tardiad. They're not making Freniskay.
They're not making Prifddinas. They're not making an entirely second Keldegrim.
Heck, they're probably not making new character models. Well, not many.
Honestly, it might be more like one of a kind. Because if you think about one of a kind, that used almost entirely, it just used the world, but with a couple
really
extra
good
rooms.
use. And then the story was intense. Like, that is what drew you in.
Yeah. But yeah,
So we're gonna get more of those, and they're gonna be focused around like quirky stuff, like the penguins, maybe some more pirate ones. Actually, pirate
one-off stuff.
Yeah, smaller, self-contained.
And yeah, it's
on their own world.
I could definitely see the penguins continuing in Bottle Quest form,
Mm-hmm.
but what they explicitly said is that it was going to be like self-contained, like standalone. Like, so instead of, think of it more as in like the lores and histories that we get. So instead of being part of a major quest series, they're just little standalone stories that are probably dripping with lore, but don't actively impact the current stuff in game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
Walter's
less,
got a good example.
It's less costly.
Yeah, like maybe they want to give us the history of Kuradal's mother. Well, now they can, and they don't have to
Make a quest series about finding out little tidbits. They can put it in the one.
Yep. So that does bring
wonderful.
us to the end of quests. So after quests,
Are we going monsters?
I believe next up is combat. So
Nice.
to a certain extent.
Okay.
Before we jump to that, let's hope Mod Stu gets a quest this year.
I would be very surprised if he doesn't. If he doesn't have one of the major quests, he's going to probably have several bottle quests. And
I sure hope
I don't
so.
know which one I would rather him have.
Both.
One of the major quests or a bunch of the bottle quests. Because
Why not both?
Quests.
Oh yeah, but why not both?
Just give
That's
them
right,
all.
Mod Stu.
Alright.
More work for you.
There you go.
We love you. man.
Well, Stu worked with Rowley on Byreek 6, right?
Which means he'll be working on
Which
this
means
next
he'll
one, too.
likely be working on Byreek 7. So
Yeah, because of the Scrum team concept.
Yep.
That's
also, all hail Stu God.
All hail Stu God.
Oh hell.
Praise be the Stu God.
Anyways, we need to move on now. So next up is combat, and we'll start with something that us Seercasters are intimately familiar with: PvP.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're done. Oh no, yeah,
No, we're not going to do that.
no, we are going to do that, but we're not actually particularly intimately familiar with it.
Although I do know that I'm probably going to go play some Darkscape tomorrow, and that's what we're talking about, right?
That's one of the things we're talking about.
Yeah,
yes.
that's one of the things we're talking about. I'm going to play some tomorrow. I might record some of it, and a few people from here might be on it.
Yeah.
I don't know really what to expect from it, but it could be funny. It could be.
It could be
Probably
hilarious.
lots of death.
There'll always be
Probably
live
lots of
deaths.
death there.
There will be a ton of death. You can bet on it.
But yeah.
I can bet that somebody who's doing the quest with me will kill me.
I
Like, I'd stake money on that.
would say that's probably fair.
But
As long as you're not like Stu and hiding in instances all the time.
That was my strategy.
God damn it, Lime.
That's the smart thing to do.
But yeah, so with combat, in PvP specifically, we are seeing several changes to kind of like the broader scope of PvP, and as opposed to like the actual combat itself. But we're going to be seeing Duel Anywhere returning. Why wasn't this a thing until now? Bounty Hunter Worlds returning. Why wasn't this a thing until now? Or for the last 5 years or whatever. We're going to be high-risk Wildy Worlds is to risk everything. Why isn't this already a thing? It's like, you know.
Like, these are all things that should have, like, another set of updates, things that should have been there from the get-go.
But yeah, so these are... Bounty Hunter was, of course, in the game in the period where there was no wilderness, or where the wilderness wasn't PvP, and that was from 2008 to 2011, I think?
That is correct.
Till early 2011. But yeah, so that was a thing, and then they removed it because they put the wilderness back in. But I've always liked the idea of Bounty Hunter Worlds, where it's full world PvP. If you don't want it, you don't have to go. You don't have to be on that world. If you do want it, there you go. There's a full world for you to do your stuff, and it's a cool concept. And while I probably won't be taking part in it, it's like sweet.
Yeah, it's good for the people who will enjoy it.
It's certainly better than something like the Crucible. RIP.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is very dead.
Very dead.
Incredibly.
And also, the music tracks there suck. But yeah. Anyways. Also, some Darkscape stuff that they're planning on doing. They're adding dungeoneering to Darkscape. Now, wait, this is hilarious. You will be able to hop into someone else's dungeon, kill them, kick them out, and finish the dungeon yourself. That is
My dungeon now.
unbelievably funny. I want to see how they do that, though, because
What I just
it's
hope
instanced.
happens is that, like, somebody goes in and they're doing the dungeon, and then some guy just crashes in, takes the dungeon over, and then he gets stopped on the path by a strength door.
It'll be like Salt in the Wound, except actually happening.
Like,
You just
he
have
gets
like
stopped.
somebody blow a hole in the side of the dungeon, walk in, kill everyone, and then go and do stuff. It's like,
Yeah. They could even reuse the entrance in the side of Demonheim.
I know, right?
That. It's perfect.
But yeah, there's also stuff with PvP. So highest profile PvPers will get a boost XP rate and be put on a bounty board. If you dislike someone who PK'd you, you can pay to put their names on the bounty board. And killing people on the bounty board gets you rewards and XP boost, just like being a high profile killer does. They're also doing something that I don't know why they don't actually have this in the real escape. But they plan to imbalance weapons within a tier, so it provides more variety. Like two-handed swords are higher damage but less accurate, etc.
I have some more comments about that in the mining and smithing portion.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
they're like monkeying around with the combat triangle in Darkscape. They're kind of using Darkscape as a testing ground.
I wonder
which
if
is
that's just the idea.
Yeah.
It is the idea, and that's really, really good in my opinion.
Also, EOC might be added.
Woo!
Thank God.
Yay.
Might. So that means probably... Actually, it probably means yes. But, I mean, it's like... Yeah, okay. I get the initial idea of Legacy being Legacy only. I just think that's a terrible idea, and I think EOC should have been in there from the beginning. But we talked about that at length, I believe, in podcast number 59. So if you really want to hear our thoughts on that...
Oh, are you sure it wasn't 60?
Yeah, I
Yes,
think it was
because...
60.
Oh, right.
You know I'm going to give you hell for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I deserve it. But it's okay, I give you hell for all sorts of stuff, too, so...
60 is because penguins, anyway.
Yep. Besides, this one's floor 61, so... Which speaking of which, we didn't actually hear anything about, which I'm kind of sad, but whatever.
Yep.
Anyways,
Floor 61 forever.
yep. Anyways, moving on. So that ends PvP. We now have PvM. PvM stuff. So apparently, Nex was originally a prototype for Nomad. What?
Great.
What?
Just,
I
just
think
what?
We need to start rethinking Zara's like right now.
Oh dear God. But yeah, so the higher level Slayer, but they also mentioned that the high level Slayer monsters from Rune Labs are due out later this year. Ripper Demons drop a level 85 two-handed melee weapon that doubles damage over time effects. Camel Warriors, which lets you camel stack harder, will drop a new staff that can summon a sandstorm that lowers foe accuracy.
Do.
Yeah. Okay. Mammoths will drop things needed for a new level 99 Beast of Burden with 32 slots, so a Super Yak or a Pack Mammoth.
Penguins.
Or
Yeah.
Penguins.
Like mammoths, we have seen the concept art, and it is a bunch of penguins riding a mammoth.
Yes.
And I don't know how you can get more epic
What
than
are
that.
mammoths? What are mammoths? The super high level Slayer critters from?
What?
Oh, they said mammoths. Or is that what? What are
Oh,
mammoths from?
there's a hardcore harder version that has like gold plating and more penguins.
It's from
yeah,
the Rune Labs.
This
That's
entire,
right.
Yeah, this entire set's
Yeah.
from Rune Labs.
Well, no, the Ripper Demons are high level Slayer monsters.
That were from Rune Labs.
They were from Rune Labs. Okay.
Yeah.
God.
All four of them came from Rune Labs.
Okay, and then Living Wyverns will drop a level 85 two-handed crossbow that gets stronger over time, similar to how the Royal Crossbow was supposed to be, but ended up not being. Yeah, it sounds similar to the old Royal Crossbow effect, but we have no details on it. There will also be a very difficult solo boss next year. That might be underwater. So, Underwater City confirmed?
Underwater Spider confirmed.
Cool.
Oh god, Underwater
Ew.
Spider.
They actually
Brax
talked
used that
about
official.
they talked about something similar to that later in the podcast about like the fate of Rune Labs, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. The potential raid, or there's a potential raid that apparently battle Virago, who is geared up for his fight with Tuska, and well. We mentioned Gobi Volleyball in the last podcast, which is actually number 60. Lime.
Are you sure? It might have been 59.
I think it was 40. But yeah, you can access Gobi Volleyball by doing the Konami code on the gongs. Up, up, down, down, right, left, right, left. But yeah, we talked about that more last time. They'll also add future raids to Mazcab, at least one raid a year. The Shaman is a very likely pick, and you could also see Elementals.
They
Left,
they
right.
pointed out
Oh, right, left, right, left, right. Sorry.
they pointed out two elementals in particular, the fire elemental and the air elemental. Their concept art looks great. I don't know exactly what the fights will be like, and we hypothesize, and I'm using like insane vocab here, so we know that like this is important.
Oh yeah, of course.
We hypothesize that the Earth Elemental is going to be in Gobi Quest 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And we already have the Water Elemental, which is Yakamaru.
So yeah, it makes sense that you might see air and fire elementals, and they basically confirmed one raid next year, and so it's likely that we'll see a couple of these, if not all of them here in the future. Basically, all of the combat team are working on their own bosses in their free time. However, they're not Chris L, so yeah, rip. Like hard mode Corp, hard mode Nex, etc. They want raids to be more open to smaller teams, solo players, and skillers. So Q Runic here in spirit saying skilling never is going to work ever, but they seem to really want to make skilling work in bossing.
Like they're gonna try their damnedest.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be there in some form, and I don't know how successful it will be, but I'm pretty sure that people are going to pay other people to be skillers for raids.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It is just really hard. Like the thing that they mentioned with when they were talking about a skilling only boss is like, where's the danger? But if you add skilling to as a specific role in a boss, it might be the solution to the problem.
Well, the danger is you could still take damage and still have to avoid attacks. You just won't be like punching the boss.
Yeah.
Really. You could just be running around the room and like collapsing supports and.
It would be a tanking contest.
Yeah. Things like that.
Yeah.
I assume.
Combat and skilling can be the same thing. With combat, you wield a weapon and get hit. With skilling, you wield a tool and get hit. Just has different skill requirements. Yeah, that's something. I think it's more of... I think the way that they want to do it, and this is just pure conjecture, but is something more like there's a skilling role within the team, as opposed to it is a skiller-only boss. But
yeah, like a support class.
Yeah. Like for these raids, that's what they made it sound like. They'll be both skillers and combat people working together.
And the skillers would have their own different set of dangers to them. Or it could be like the team is supposed... The skillers are the most important part. They're the key to winning the battle. And it is the job of the team to keep the boss away from said skillers.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Interesting gameplay.
So
an escort mission.
Yeah. There's things that... Yeah, it would be like an escort mission. So there's things that you can do with it, Runic.
Yeah.
But I don't think a skiller only boss is particularly feasible. But yeah, having that as a role would be kind of cool.
So that's a ton of the really exciting stuff that we're seeing in combat, and I believe there's one more thing.
Yeah, there is.
Can I go ahead and introduce it, because I'm really not happy about it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
It is the God Wars Dungeon 2, which will be coming out next year, focusing on the current God Wars rather than the one that happened 2,000 years ago. Basically, God Wars Dungeon is the most popular update ever.
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 Without a
Straight
doubt.
No, it beats out the Wilderness. God Wars Dungeon
it smashes the Wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even close.
God Wars Dungeon is the most popular update ever, which is why when the polls came out, the survey came out, everyone was really excited for God Wars Dungeon 2. And a God Wars Dungeon 2, but I believe in the same fashion as the first God Wars Dungeon, because the first God Wars Dungeon, you got a wealth of content from that. You got all sorts of, you got 4 bosses, you got an entire mob area, you got so many Slayer monsters. It was just so much wealth that was added to the game.
Yeah, and each of the bosses had their own sets of drops and all that.
Yes.
And it was
It was just so revolutionary that when it came out. So I feel like people wanted that same concept, and why am I gesturing to nobody here?
Why wouldn't
they wanted the same concept, but transplanted into a new version, something with a breath of fresh air, something that would be tougher. And now we're going to get a new God Wars dungeon, but I feel like the concept here doesn't make much sense. Because my main problem with it is that the four gods that would be fighting in the God Wars Dungeon 2 are the same 4 gods that were fighting in the God Wars Dungeon 1. And they show concept art of a Saren general facing off against a Tuska general, but that doesn't make any sense.
I was like, wait, what?
It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
You what, mate?
That is big question mark right there.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but that's the only part about this that I'm really what? I even like the fact that they're doing god swords again. You get a Saren god sword and a Tuska god sword.
They did point out like, we could do like god bows as well, but I'm pretty sure everyone in the room was thinking, it's going to be god swords.
No, it's going to be god swords.
Yeah.
Because that's just like a thing. It's like it's not even just a thing within RuneScape. It's like become a meme. It's one of the things that RuneScape has that's like infiltrated every other game. Like where
like
you
the
have
Gnome Child, or trimming rune armor.
Yeah, like just certain things that RuneScape has accidentally started that just kind of has filtered into the game ethos.
Gnome Child.
That's what you're thinking of, memes.
Well, it's not necessarily memes, but it's like the essence of online gaming. It's the things that other games would reference from RuneScape. Would be like the God Sword, or the Gnome Child, or trimming rune armor. It's like those things. It's like the classic RuneScape, and it's just the God Sword. So sure, go ahead and make some God Swords. Give us a Zeros God Sword while you're at it, so people can stop asking for it on Rune Labs.
Yeah, so all those people can feel validated that their idea is now in the game.
And now they'll start spamming other crappy ideas.
I'm just not happy with like. I'd be happier if it was 4 armies of the gods just fighting it out. Well, not even of the gods, like 4 separate countries. We could have like a great God Wars dungeon type thing in like a perpetuated event for like Firewatch, like the Battle of Silvaria. That'd be a great event.
Cool. That could be very cool. But I mean, this is all. Keep in mind, this is all preliminary. So, but the Battle of Silvaria would obviously not be a God Wars dungeon because the River of Blood, the Vire series, is 5th Age. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, still, just because it's the God Wars dungeon doesn't mean it has to be about the gods. It just needs to have.
It kind of.
Well, I mean, like God Wars Dungeon 2. That's just a preliminary title. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
Like, I think what they mean is that they want the same thing in spirit. Like, the same, there's certain factions, there's going to be all sorts of, like, this whole mob area, there's going to be bosses, there's going to be all sorts of drops. It's just going to be a massive package of really fun content that will be played for years to come.
Yeah, I guess.
Instead of being something like, it's the armies of 4 gods.
Yeah, I hope they take that route, and if they find some, cool idea that they go with that instead of thinking like, okay, it has to be gods, so let's go throw 4 random gods together and call it a thing.
Hamlet says, "What about Slisky? Am I a god? Maybe yes, maybe no, but I'm not really not, but I'm really not sword."
The not sword.
Yeah. The Slisky, am I a god? Maybe yes, maybe no, but I'm really not sword. It just rolls off the tongue. Oh my god. But yeah, so that's a thing. It also, in the concept art of the Saren General facing off Tuska General, or accompanying it, they did mention that they are intended to be able to be soloed. So it kind of is more like the traditional God Wars boss, as opposed to like a Virago or some of the other, or Calphite King, which are technically not they're technically soloable, but they're not intended to be soloable.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, okay. So that brings us to the end of combat, and we move on into miscellaneous other stuff before we get into the really good part that Lime wants to super spam about.
Wait. But, this is our segue.
This is it. First of all, in the miscellaneous stuff, they are changing the way that Rune Labs works. So, instead of everybody just throw out random ideas, and then whichever ones arbitrarily rise to the top in the ways that we have actually criticized in the past, it seems like what they're going to do is say, we're doing this. And in this case, the first thing they said is, we're going to create an entire new landmass. So first thing I'm sure everybody thought was, oh my god, Eastern Lands.
Yeah.
I know
pretty
that was
much.
my first thought. The second thing they said was Fossil Island is possible. So it seems like a new land mass might be a little bit of a stretch, because they said Fossil Island and then like Menaphos or an underwater city,
It's
Acheron,
just like
please.
a new area
Yeah.
to
Yeah. A
interact,
new place
Yeah.
on the map.
which could include Wushenko, but I feel like they're going to veto that because
Probably
that's
not.
somewhere they want to hold on to.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
not.
Or
But-
it could be like an even newer island to the south of Karamja, or like somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Or
to
it
the
could-
west of the Elven lands.
It could be the Elven Wood suggestion, which
This would be
okay.
an actually relevant place to do that, though.
Yeah.
yes.
So you kind of like, you might poll which island or what landmass you want, or maybe they just say we're doing this landmass, and then it's up to Rune Labs to determine content for that landmass, and hopefully it isn't as bad of a cluster whatever as the last iteration of Rune Labs was. But
Yeah.
I'm really appreciative that they learned that this last way of doing Rune Labs didn't really appeal to anyone. Like, I don't think anyone's particularly happy with the way that Rune Labs turned out.
No.
Yeah. Not really.
I mean, it's one of those like, ooh, that's a cool idea. But then, as it goes on, you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It turns into, like, the tyranny of the majority thing that I think I ranted at earlier.
Yeah, you referenced that in the previous podcast, and you haven't watched that already. Go watch that, and that's another plug.
Yeah.
But
Yeah! Alright.
like, Fossil Island is a very real possibility, and Menaphos and Underwater City are also options, and they are going to help us. Well, not help us. We are going to help decide how the content is going to be laid out. Like, should this area be a low-level area, or should it be like a mid-level area? Or, God forbid, we plant down a virtual copy of Prifddinas.
Prifddinas too, with all of the skills that are not in Prifddinas.
Yes. Honestly, that's
I
So
Since
we'd have what, rune crafting, what isn't in Prif?
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Dungeoneering.
Alright, so we
Yeah,
have
about
rune
it.
crafting. No, we have dungeoneering.
Yeah.
Dungeoneering's there. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah,
Um,
something like Fossil Island or
Like, you could even something like Menaphos. I ever since they announced elite skills, I've been thinking, yeah, Menaphos should be like the counterpart to Prifddinas. It should be the city of elite skills, like the center of learning.
Memphis.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's a reference to the old Islamic Empire, like
Well, I was referencing more the Great Library of Alexandria.
Yeah.
or
because
that.
Menaphos has
Both
a great
actually.
library. So yeah, we could have all sorts of stuff, and we could have like it's up to the community to decide what will be put where. That being said, I'm pretty sure people will vote Pushenko again and again and again. But that's just me being cynical.
At least it's not elves. At least it's not freaking elves. Seems like they're done with that, which is
Knock on wood.
about time. But yeah, knock on wood indeed. But yeah, so that's one of the miscellaneous things. Another one that we briefly mentioned earlier was that RuneScape is having its 15-year anniversary. There's going to be a documentary about it, parties, items, perhaps
An
emotions for all 15 years. And Classic will be opened again for its final time again.
Yeah.
It's like Shiraki's "You have failed me for the last time again." It's like, okay, so you're saying it's going to be opened again for the last time until it's
Again.
opened again for
Yeah.
the last time.
Honestly, they might as well just say, "Hey, we'll open it every 5 years" or something like that.
I know. And that's fair enough. But yeah, yep. And the last thing is some irrelevant mining and smithing rework. Line
We can
Yeah,
skip
it's
over
my
that.
turn. I'm gonna spam. Well,
everyone, prepare yourselves.
yeah, prepare yourselves. Okay, so mining and smithing. Mod Jack has been like pioneering this rework for the longest time. I think it's been like 2 Runefests that this has been happening. Has it been 2?
Yep, it was the
Yes.
2013 Runefest.
It's been ridiculous, and everyone knows that mining and smithing needs a rework badly, which is why we voted it in. And like it's happening. It's finally happening. There's going to be a level rebalance so that like Rune will be smithable at 50.
It's also, before you go on, it's also worth mentioning that the J-mods didn't realize that we wanted this. This was a serious surprise to them. They're like, wait, this one is one of the ones that you really want? And apparently it was like the top vote getter for old school
Reworks.
players. For like what they call sleeper players, I think.
Yeah, like those who are currently taking a break or they have quit, those who are telling themselves that they will quit tomorrow.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Don't let the door hit you on your way out. What? No, anyways, go on, Lime.
So it's finally coming. We might see like Necrolith. We might see all of that wonderful stuff that ModJack posted up, and I have spammed about repeatedly, and you can see all over the forums. And then they're also going to release more weapon diversity, which is something that we something that we talked about at the top. Well, not at the top. In the beginning of the podcast. Sorry, I'm just so passionate about this that I'm all in a jumble.
That is fair.
Yeah, it's finally happening. It was my first 99.
It's happening. .gif.
All right, and then finally, this is something new that we didn't know. The Dragonkin style smithing, and they showed us a picture of we're learning the arts of the Dragonkin, because the Dragonkin, they are the best smiths who have ever lived. They far surpass the dwarves. They far surpass the Aviansi. They surpass everyone. They say that we could eventually learn their smithing techniques, and they showed us this wonderful picture of some weapons that showed up. And it all looks fantastic, and they have tied that into what I'm going to talk about next. And they, like everyone in the podcast knows that I'm going to spam even more about this, so get ready.
Yeah,
We're ready.
Invention.
Spam.
Invention. Oh my god.
Why didn't you spam like this when it was at the poll a couple like last year or something?
I did.
Maybe I just don't remember it.
You don't.
Okay.
you blocked it from your memory.
Okay. So here we go. The current iteration of invention is that it's a skill that gives you a lot of choice in what to do. Like that's its main premise. It gives you choice in what weapons you want, what like tools you want, what machines you want to do, and it also gives you a choice in what its training will be. Most of it will be from like device building, perks, and item developing, and I'm going to talk about this in a bit. I think it's something like 60% of the skill will be done in those 3 parts, but you'll also get some experience from discovery and disassembly, and I'm going to talk about them all, starting with disassembly. Disassembly, and this is going to be a no-duh moment, comes from taking apart items.
Really?
Like no!
What?
Just like your random junk items, and they've been talking about this ad nauseum for the longest time.
Yeah, it's a item sink. Which,
Yeah, it's an item thing.
God knows we need somewhere to place the 500 billion steel plate bodies that people make, or I guess mithril plate. Steel plate bodies actually get used, sort of, but
Now,
mithril plate bodies.
Yeah.
Go.
In the past, they've talked about essences and components and parts, and I know at Runefest they talk about the components and the parts, and I don't believe they mentioned essences, but I'm not sure if that's continuing to be a thing or if it's not really a thing anymore. But in any event, components would be like, let's say you got the blade, or like a sliver of a blade of the God Sword, and a part would be something like the stock of a rune crossbow or something like that. Well, an essence would be something more abstract, like I believe Moltaire referenced he referenced the essence of sharpness, and just a moment. Hang on, yeah. So he specifically referenced like an abstract concept, such as like the essence of sharpness, or like the essence of health, and you can apply these to rebuild these items, or to modify existing items. And that brings us to the next part of invention, which is the perks and device building. And there is a very nice picture that I'm hoping will be going up right about now.
Which is?
Of a Ceredoman Godsword that has been modified. Hang on. Yeah, there it is. And you can see that it has all sorts of little modifications to it. And these modifications will give the items perks. And before I go any further, you can make the modifications through using the parts, the components, and the essences that you got from disassembling those previous items. The perks that it gives you will be something like minus 10% attack or accuracy, or plus 30% damage against dragons. Those were both examples used in Runefest. And and then you can apply these to many items, basically any item above level 70, including the rubber chicken and flowers.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. And you can modify these weapons to suit your playstyle, or you can just come up with them. And if you don't like what you've added to the weapons, and this is my understanding of it, which may not be completely correct, but this is my understanding, you can either take apart the weapon again and try again, or you can say, yeah, I like this weapon, let's go with it. Which brings us to the next part of invention, which is leveling up items. And this has been a key component of invention since day one.
Mm-hmm.
That they want part of the training to be using the items themselves. And basically, as you use an item, so say you've got your mod sword, as I like to call it, the modded sword. Or there's also this wonderful picture that I took of the modded crystal wand, like the attuned crystal wand.
Panic cell wands.
Panic cell wands. So say you're using that. The more you use it, the better your perks get. So suddenly your plus 30% damage against dragons could suddenly become plus 35% damage against dragons, or plus 40% damage against dragons. While the negative perks, like the minus 10% accuracy that they used in the example, might end up being less bad. Like eventually minus 5% accuracy, or no loss of accuracy at all, or plus 5% accuracy. They could go the other way, in my opinion. That's just my conjecture. So it brings together this assembly system and this item sync, as well as this item leveling up system, which I think is fantastic. And what's even better is that they add research to that, because while you're skilling throughout RuneScape, you can come up with discoveries. You can set yourself to try and discover certain things, but you won't know much about them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have anything to add?
Well, it said you know that something is there, but you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you're trying to find the specifics.
It's almost like reverse engineering, sort of.
Yeah. Well, it's more like
I wouldn't say, okay, maybe not reverse engineering, but it's that same concept of you know that there's something there, but you don't know what it is. So I'm trying to figure it out.
Right. What else? Oh, these will be researches, and you can use those to come up with more items, such as I know the example was the cyborg Chinchompa, and I was like, okay, fair enough, cyborg Chinchompa, let's go. Or the light bulb hat.
Why are we making Chinchompas lime bots?
Because why not?
Okay.
This is for science. I hope you realize.
Science. For science.
We've also got the light bulb hat, and that's also fantastic. It is enlightening.
Yes. And it fits thematically because the skill icon for invention is a light bulb.
Oh yeah. So.
God damn it, Lug. Why did I let you do this part?
Because I'm the best.
Go on.
Okay. So initially, these researches will be organized along a technology tree. and well, 3 technology trees actually. You start off with the basic human one, which focuses around the original concept of divination and energy being put into inventions. But eventually, as you go along, you can discover like dwarven tech trees or gnomic tech trees, and you can focus on one, which doesn't really mean that you'll ignore the other, but it just means that you'll get around to that later. So then there are a bunch of really cool inventions on both of them. I know Shiraki is in here. I know what his favorite will be. Shiraki, this is your chance.
I don't know if he's actually...
Are you going to talk?
No, I don't think he's actually
Shiraki.
going to talk.
Damn it,
He's looking.
It's the mind control butler.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah,
The
there
monkey
he is.
butler mind control.
Yep.
Butler.
Oh
You
dear.
missed your opportunity.
He's spamming ook in chat.
Ook, 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 ook. Yeah. Like this is what we have to deal with, people. My personal favorite. Oh,
This is what we have to deal with. I don't know why it took me that long to realize what you just said. Oh well. Anyways, go on.
Okay. Eventually, there will be a batch 2, and I know this is a large info dump, but I promise this will be almost the end, and I am completely nerding out over this, but this is almost
We
the
have
end.
every right to nerd out over this.
Mm-hmm.
This is our job. This is our job
Yeah.
at the Seercast, is to nerd out hardcore over Runefest stuff.
Also, these research mechanics really excite me. Like, this is really exciting.
Is it? No, never mind. Just go on.
Okay. So there will be an entire batch 2 where you get to set up a guild of researchers, and you are like the guild master. So that kind of brings in the Church of You idea. So it's like a culmination of a ton of different ideas.
Yeah, but where's Meg?
Oh my god.
Hey, Meg could be one of the people we invite to
The Church of You,
research.
the Church of Scientology. Oh God, no.
Let's not think about that. I'm not Tom Cruise yet.
Anyways, go on.
So batch 2 will give us a guild, which you can set up and try and progress. And it will also give you a ton of machines in order to do the grinding for you, like the infamous pie making machine.
Yes. Give.
So we can make admiral pies to our heart's content.
Or
Um,
lime can. The rest of us are just gonna make summer pies.
Yeah, or red berry pies.
Or those.
Well, you know,
Or
I've
Cadalva
always
berry
liked summer
pies.
pies, but there's just been something about admiral pies that I found admirable.
I knew that was coming.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
I posted mine in the chat, so just go on.
Okay. So there are 2 types of machines, such as the pie-making machine, or there's also a machine that they didn't really describe that was effectively like a port's voyage. It gives you it's somewhat risky, but it can give you XP and it can give you other stuff if you can pull it off. And that's the best way I can describe it because I do not fully understand this concept, but I vow that I will understand this concept at some point.
Soon.
Maybe.
Soon.
Trademark.
Hopefully. Definitely. Okay.
Probably.
In
Potentially.
addition, there will be another 2 tech trees added with this expansion batch, the second batch. I was about to say expansion pack. And these 2 tech trees are 1, the elven tech tree, which focuses around like elven crystal, and of course we had to have elves in there somewhere, but this looks pretty cool. We've got a bunch of inventions that look quite pretty, including the portal generator.
Portal.
I assume that you will have to think with portals.
Of course.
And then this is the coolest name in the entire set of invention. The waveform collapsers marks 1 and 2,
Yep.
and Mark 1 is misspelled.
Yep.
Oops. So we've got all sorts of like crystally, very pretty elf tech around here. And then there's my personal favorite, which is the gnome tech. And it is my favorite because
Line bots.
these gnomes are basically me. They are basically me. Like, if I made something, that would be how I'd make it. Like, there's Steam, there's, like, spring loading, there's all sorts of stuff. And then, of course, there's Lime bots.
Of course.
All the line bots.
So that's pretty much everything that you need to know about inventions so far. I know I've spammed about it.
Spam.
I'm pretty sure my face is red at this point,
Good.
but I'm very happy with this.
It is.
What do you guys think?
It is. I voted for invention back when it was polled. Like, this is all the stuff that I wanted to see from it. I love the way that they're taking it. I like the way that they're using the elite skill system to literally just be like, this is a new type of skill and we can do anything with it. They're completely changing the XP curve as well. So halfway to 120 is actually 76. Halfway to 120 is 76. And halfway to 99 is somewhere in the 60s, maybe upper 50s. Like, you need a total of, it's like 40 mil XP to get, maybe it's 50 mil XP to get 99, and then 80 to get 120.
Right.
Yeah, and there's also...
And before we forget, there are 3 requirements. 80 divination, 80 crafting, and 80 smithing.
Yep. And level 120 will be required for comp on launch. So, have fun, guys.
Yeah, go and chase your comp capes.
I will be here not chasing any comp capes.
I will probably go for 120 in any event.
Yeah.
Because this is the line.
This is totally Lime. Like,
Yeah.
smithing was kind of Lime because helmets, but this is like Lime to the max.
Yeah, this is smithing plus.
Maximum
is-
limes.
This is my time to shine.
But yeah, so it's also worth mentioning, I don't know if you said this, it is being released in January. That is
I
date.
completely forgot.
That is a date that
Yeah.
they gave us, is January, and then they would be thinking about doing other expansions of the skill, which would include the gnome tech and the elven tech later on in the year. So
They also suggested a couple of other tech trees, such as the Tsar. Not the Tsar. The Tizar tech tree with like
that's
lava
Tsar.
tech. What else could vampire tech, like blood based stuff like that.
bird
and
brain
all-
tech.
Ogre tech.
Ogre
let's wrap it up.
tech, large
Oh,
large smashy objects. To make your objects larger and smashier.
Yeah,
That
but
is-
like
So, guilty.
Go Orange.
I think that they mentioned something about like ogre biotech or whatever, like way back. Some sort of, I don't know.
Build the
something.
table and the door to smash it. Like, literally, ogre tech would just be make a big thing smashier.
A bigger hammer.
Yes, make it a larger hammer. And it's also worth mentioning that they don't, at release, it will not go all the way up to 120 content-wise. So it'll be kind of similar to Dungeoneering in that regard, where it's a level 120 skill, but there is no content past a certain level, and it'll probably go up to 99 on release, and then past that is what they'll add later. Although that's just conjecture, I actually have no idea. One other thing to mention here is that other potential elite skills that they mentioned, aside from the sailing skill that they mentioned
There
at a
is-
certain point,
A massive list of them.
there is a
And
massive list of skills.
It is a gigantic list
It
of them.
includes stuff like necromancy, shape-shifting, archaeology.
It also includes. Wait, hang on. Where did
There's
I
also
put that?
some really silly ones.
Such as parenting. Which okay.
There's some, like, really silly ones.
Thrilling.
The elite skill of Dragonkin.
Yep. Like I said,
Uh-huh.
really silly ones.
My personal favorite is the elite skill of idle.
Yep.
You have to
Thanks,
get-
standing.
You need
Yeah,
a special
aquarium.
kind of dedication for it.
Cosmetic surgery. Wow.
But
It
yeah.
is very nice.
Oh, here it is. It's just our thoughts. Cannibalism is one. Cheese rolling. Skull dragging.
Coloring.
Psionics. That's a cool one.
Aquarium.
Money making. Lore seeking. We can get behind that one.
Yeah.
Fisticuffs. Flirting. Like there's all sorts of random ones here that are just like absolutely
Sarcasm.
hilarious. And
Sarcasm.
I will
Pet
I will
combat.
be posting that up right now. Invention.
So yeah,
Elite
I'm
skill
really
list.
excited about all these elite skills. They say that there's going to be a new one coming out every 2 years. That's their goal,
Which
which is going to be sweet.
it's gonna be awesome if they stick
Yeah.
to it. If they don't stick to it, well, it's still gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It'll happen
now-
when it happens.
Yeah, and now they don't have to deal with people saying, "Oh, they can't make this and this skill because it sounds too similar to these skills combined together." Now, like that's the point. They could go with any of their ideas. Make it into
Exactly.
elite skills.
But yeah, I like it's just such a cool concept, and beyond the fact that it's a new skill, it's a new type of skill that
Yeah.
opens up the ability for so many other skills. It's very cool. But
I'm very excited for all of this.
Mhm.
I am very, very excited. Yeah.
But I believe that brings us to the end of
Wait, we forgot one update.
we did. Oh wait,
The NXT client.
I did forget about that. I meant to mention that. God damn it. Yeah, so
on, Corbin.
NXT client, there isn't a whole lot to say about it other than that it is a thing. It looks awesome, and we can't
Yeah.
wait for it. And they don't.
We do know that it is going to C++ because it gives a better control for the
Yeah,
developers.
yeah, a lot more control.
In addition, it will remove the FPS cap, but the logic of the game makes it so that the FPS can only go up to 50 anyways because of the whole tick
Well-
basis. Well,
Yeah.
They'll remove the cap on the rendering and the graphics and all that.
oh yeah, and
But,
there
like-
will be a much larger draw distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks like everything looks better. Contrary to what Walter says.
Well, they've made some big improvements since they've released those screenshots a few months back.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that was
Yes.
in early stages anyway.
Yeah.
But it looks like the colors are good, the lighting's significantly better, the draw distance is massive. So it just looks very cool. I'm really looking forward to that when we finally get to have our hands on it in the live game. Of course, we said this about HTML5, and that literally never happened, but I mean, it seems like they learned from HTML5's never happening, and well, are
Yeah.
setting out to fix that. But yeah, so now I believe we have covered everything that was on the mainstream of Runefest. So
Yeah.
we are aware that there was a Quest Q&A, but it wasn't streamed. So we have not
And
had a
we are
chance to look at
aware.
it.
Well, yeah, it'll be up in about 2 weeks, so we should be able to do some content on that
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
And that is the plan, is to in our next podcast, whenever that may be, which is probably going to be a couple weeks, we will discuss that as well as whatever else is relevant at the time, which may be Gobi Quest, perhaps.
Yeah.
Which is going to be really exciting. Like this has been
Like
very, very exciting today.
the thing is, like last year's Runefest, we all came away like, it's interesting, but I don't know.
Like the highlight for last Runefest was the fact that Kitten and I went.
Yes.
And Galore.
Yeah.
We went to England and we saw the developers and we were like, "Hey guys, we're here for the podcast."
We pulled a
And
Shiraki.
they were like, "We are too."
We are too. It puts on shades.
deal with it.
Yes, but yeah, that was probably the highlight from last year. Less, as opposed to like the actual content which was announced. Like last year, there wasn't that much in the way of quest reveals. It felt like it was a lighter. They didn't go as like balls to the wall as they did this year, in terms of like what they're doing. Because
Exactly.
the most important thing that they were releasing was Rune Labs, which ended up.
Which kind of fell a little flat.
Yeah.
But at least it's being redesigned, and we have a bunch more content to go with it in case it falls flat again.
Yep. In case it falls flat again. Well, hopefully that won't happen, but, you know. Anyways. But yeah, so that covers everything we wanted to mention about Runefest this year. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, check out the BTS edition that is up. There will be a link in this video, if I can remember to post it. Edition link. But yeah, there will be a link in this video to go back and watch that one. If you haven't already, I recommend, as I do with every one of these. We will be back in a couple weeks for more, and please follow us on Twitter at Seercast. Follow
Check
our
Check
blog.
out all that other content that we've come out, and yeah, that's on the blog. The blog.
Yep, the blog has all of our other content, seercast.wordpress.com, and just stay tuned for more stuff. So,
Stuff.
thanks for listening, everyone, and we will see you guys later.